Are self-help books actually holding you back from real growth and success? Welcome to a provocative exploration of why it might be time to close that motivational bestseller and chart a different course. Today, we're challenging the multi-billion-dollar self-help industry and uncovering why its promises often fall short. Self-help books seem like the perfect solution when we're feeling stuck or unfulfilled. They offer hope, quick fixes, and the allure of transformation. But here's the uncomfortable truth. They can become a crutch that keeps us trapped in a cycle of consumption without real change. Let's start with the dopamine hit. Opening a new self-help book gives us a rush of optimism and possibility. We feel productive just by reading it, but this temporary high can mask the lack of actual progress in our lives. We mistake consuming information for taking meaningful action. Many self-help authors intentionally play into this cycle. They craft their messages to be addictive, always hinting at the next secret or breakthrough. It's a clever marketing tactic that keeps readers coming back for more books, courses, and seminars. But it rarely leads to lasting change. Consider the guru problem in self-help. These authors often present themselves as infallible experts with all the answers. This creates an unhealthy power dynamic where readers become dependent on external wisdom instead of developing their own critical thinking and self-reliance. There's also a troubling lack of scientific rigor in many self-help books. Anecdotes and feel-good platitudes often replace evidence-based approaches. This can lead readers to waste time and energy on techniques that sound good but have little proven effectiveness. The oversimplification of complex issues is another major pitfall. Life's biggest challenges, relationships, career fulfillment, mental health, rarely have one-size-fits-all solutions. Yet self-help books often present reductive frameworks that ignore the nuances of individual circumstances. Let's examine the positivity trap prevalent in self-help literature. While optimism has its place, the relentless focus on positive thinking can lead to toxic positivity. This mindset can make people feel guilty for experiencing normal human emotions like sadness or anger. It can also discourage critical analysis of genuinely problematic situations. Many self-help books promote an individualistic worldview that places the burden of change entirely on the reader. This ignores systemic issues and external factors that impact our lives. It can lead to undue self-blame and neglect of important collective action. The emphasis on constant self-improvement in these books can paradoxically reinforce feelings of inadequacy. Readers may develop a mindset that they're always lacking and need fixing. This perpetual state of striving can be exhausting and counterproductive to genuine self-acceptance and growth. Let's talk about the opportunity cost of reading endless self-help books. Every hour spent consuming this content is time not spent actually doing the hard work of change. It's easy to fool ourselves into thinking we're making progress when we're really just accumulating knowledge without application. Many self-help books rely heavily on the availability heuristic, the tendency to overestimate the importance of information that's readily available to us. They present cherry-picked success stories and ignore the complexities and failures that are part of any real journey of change. There's often a troubling lack of intersectionality in mainstream self-help. The advice given frequently assumes a reader from a position of relative privilege. This can make the guidance irrelevant or even harmful to those facing systemic barriers or unique cultural contexts. The quest for the perfect self-help formula can become a form of perfectionism. Readers may delay taking action until they've found the right system or absorbed enough information. This perpetual preparation becomes a subtle form of procrastination. Let's consider the impact of survivorship bias in self-help literature. We only hear from the authors who've achieved some measure of success with their methods. This creates a skewed perception of how easily their strategies can be replicated, ignoring countless others who may have tried and failed using similar approaches. Many self-help books promote an overly internal locus of control, the belief that we have total power over our lives and outcomes. While personal responsibility is important, this view can lead to undue stress and self-blame when facing circumstances genuinely outside our control. There's a concerning trend of self-help authors venturing beyond their expertise. A financial guru might start offering relationship advice, or a fitness expert might weigh in on complex mental health issues. This can lead readers to trust in qualified sources for critical life guidance. The focus on quick results and life hacks in many self-help books can create unrealistic expectations. Real, lasting change is often slow and nonlinear. This mismatch between expectations and reality can lead to disappointment and giving up on genuine self-improvement efforts. Let's examine the hedonic treadmill effect in relation to self-help consumption. Just as we quickly adapt to material possessions, we can become desensitized to self-help insights. This leads to constantly seeking the next book or technique for that elusive breakthrough, rather than deeply implementing what we've already learned. Many self-help books inadvertently promote a fixed mindset by suggesting there are inherent types of people. While categorization can be helpful, it can also lead readers to box themselves in and limit their potential for growth and change. The emphasis on hustle culture and productivity in many self-help books can be detrimental to overall well-being. It often neglects the importance of rest, relationships, and finding meaning beyond achievement. This imbalance can lead to burnout and a sense of emptiness even when goals are reached. Let's talk about the danger of false hope. While optimism has its place, some self-help books make grandiose promises that set readers up for disappointment. When these miracle transformations don't materialize, it can lead to increased feelings of failure and self-doubt. Many self-help books rely heavily on the illusion of control. They suggest that with the right mindset or technique, we can master any situation. This can leave readers ill-equipped to deal with genuine uncertainty and the often chaotic nature of life. There's a troubling lack of long-term follow-up in the self-help world. We rarely hear about whether the promoted techniques lead to sustained change over years or decades. This short-term focus can lead to chasing fleeting results rather than building lasting habits and resilience. The commodification of wisdom in self-help books often strips ancient philosophies and spiritual practices of their depth and context. Complex traditions get reduced to easily digestible soundbites, losing much of their transformative potential in the process. Let's consider the echo chamber effect of sticking to one self-help philosophy or author. It can lead to a narrow worldview and missed opportunities for growth through exposure to diverse perspectives and challenging ideas. Many self-help books promote a hyper-individualistic view of success that can erode our sense of community and interconnectedness. This every person for themselves mentality can lead to increased isolation and a neglect of the social support crucial for genuine well-being. The focus on extraordinary success stories in self-help literature can create a sense of inadequacy around ordinary lives. It often fails to acknowledge the value and meaning found in everyday experiences and relationships. Let's examine the potential for self-help books to become a form of spiritual bypassing. Readers may use these teachings to avoid dealing with deeper emotional issues or traumas, instead of seeking appropriate professional help when needed. Many self-help books inadvertently promote a consumer mindset towards personal growth. They suggest that transformation can be packaged and sold, rather than recognizing it as a deeply personal and often challenging journey. The emphasis on radical personal responsibility in many self-help books can lead to victim-blaming mentalities. It may cause readers to unfairly judge others who are struggling, without considering the complex factors that influence people's circumstances. Let's talk about the potential for self-help books to reinforce harmful societal norms. Many inadvertently promote narrow definitions of success or beauty, failing to challenge systemic issues that contribute to feelings of inadequacy. The simplistic mindset is everything narrative in many self-help books can downplay the very real impact of external circumstances. This can lead to frustration and self-blame when positive thinking alone doesn't overcome genuine obstacles. Many self-help books create a false dichotomy between the current self and an idealized future self. This can lead to a constant state of dissatisfaction and difficulty in appreciating present moments and small victories. Let's consider how the self-help industry often co-opts and commercializes genuine wisdom traditions. Ancient practices that were meant to be freely shared become packaged products, potentially losing their essence in the process. The focus on extreme habits and routines of successful people in many self-help books can promote an unsustainable and potentially harmful approach to personal development. It often fails to account for individual differences and the importance of balance. Many self-help books inadvertently promote a form of magical thinking. They suggest that simply believing or visualizing strongly enough will manifest desired outcomes, potentially discouraging practical planning and action. Let's examine how the constant consumption of self-help material can lead to analysis paralysis. Readers may become so focused on finding the perfect strategy that they never actually take meaningful action towards their goals. The emphasis on quantifiable metrics of success in many self-help books can lead to a neglect of less tangible but equally important aspects of a fulfilling life, such as creativity, relationships, and personal growth. Many self-help books promote an overly linear view of progress. They fail to acknowledge the natural ebbs and flows of life and the value of setbacks and failures in the growth process. Let's talk about the potential for self-help books to become a form of intellectual entertainment rather than a catalyst for change. The act of reading and learning can provide a sense of accomplishment that substitutes for actual implementation. The promise of transformation through self-help can sometimes be a form of escapism. Instead of confronting difficult realities or making tough decisions, readers may continually seek new techniques or philosophies as a way of avoiding necessary but challenging actions. So, what's the alternative to constantly consuming self-help books? It starts with recognizing that true growth often comes from lived experience, not just absorbed information. It involves developing critical thinking skills to evaluate advice and tailor it to your unique circumstances. Consider seeking out diverse perspectives beyond the self-help genre. Read history, philosophy, and fiction. Engage in real-world experiences that challenge you. Build genuine relationships and learn from the wisdom of those around you. Embrace the value of professional help when needed. A qualified therapist or coach can provide personalized guidance that no book can match. They can help you work through deep-seated issues and develop strategies tailored to your specific situation. Focus on taking small, consistent actions rather than seeking grand transformations. Real change often happens gradually through the accumulation of tiny habits and choices made day after day. Develop your own internal compass. Learn to trust your intuition and experiences. While external advice can be valuable, ultimate wisdom comes from understanding yourself and your unique path. Cultivate self-compassion and acceptance alongside your growth efforts. Recognize that you are inherently worthy and valuable, not a project to be constantly fixed or improved. Engage in practices that develop self-awareness without judgment. Mindfulness meditation, journaling, and honest self-reflection can be powerful tools for genuine growth. Shift your focus from individual achievement to how you can contribute to and connect with others. Often, our most profound personal growth comes through service and meaningful relationships. Remember, there's no one-size-fits-all solution to life's challenges. Be wary of any book or guru claiming to have all the answers. Your journey is unique, and the most valuable insights often come from your own experiences and reflections. Ultimately, the goal isn't to stop learning or seeking wisdom. It's to approach personal growth with a more discerning and balanced perspective. By breaking free from the cycle of endless self-help consumption, you create space for authentic, lasting change rooted in your own lived experiences and values.